Still not on iTunes.
Let's first. Can we at least say hello? You're just screaming.
I'm really annoyed. I've been like screaming into the nothingness for like 10 minutes.
Okay. Everyone, welcome to Insomniacs in the Morning. This is going to be a short show now.
I'm Maddy, and that's Ryan.
That is me. And for anybody that's tuning into this later, you will not see the 20 minutes of us trying to make Google Hangouts work, or I guess the mic jack or whatever.
Okay, I'll buy a new mixer. I'll do it. As soon as this call ends. I will go.
You will be happy about that, though.
Amazon.com. Because I don't know. Maybe I won't go to Amazon. That's not a plug for Amazon.
You wanted to
send us money.
So it's time. You've said to me like multiple occasions.
It's expensive. I don't like having to spend money.
Neither do I. I really hate that more than anything. But
yeah, like if I can avoid it, I will. And
don't you need it for your band? Like, I mean, either way.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't even want to get into this. This mixer, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
So what's going on in your life besides that?
I don't know. I saw you over the weekend. That was really fun.
We had a party we went to that was like sort of a high school reunion.
I feel like, okay, so you were supposed to come on Saturday.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I was supposed to come on Saturday, but a blizzard happened instead. Mm-hmm. And I almost went, but Ben stopped me because he's a good boyfriend.
Yeah, but like not before you had 6 meltdowns about it.
I mean, that's not unusual.
I know. And you were really disappointed, and it's totally fair. So like I went to our friend Steph's house all by myself. Well, with Zach. The first time. And so like on Saturday night, I just went to Steph's, even though I was the only person who could go because Steph lives within walking distance of me. So like,
I think she appreciated that.
Even though there was a blizzard, I was like, I'm just going to go to Steph's and play Smash. So like I brought my Wii U over there, brought all the controllers over there, and we played Smash.
It wasn't very clear if like the blizzard was hitting or not, and like
it was when we were there.
Yeah, and we got a lot more down here than you guys did up in Boston.
We did, although you saw some of it. Like we got some snow, and when on Saturday night there was a lot of wind and stuff. It was not great, but
no. But the next day,
it was good that you didn't try to come up.
Yeah.
And then the next day you did come because by then everything was clear, and then we played Smash again.
Well, so it wasn't easy for me to get up there because we had to like shovel out the driveway, and there was supposed to be a plow guy that was supposed to come and clear out the end of the driveway, and he did, but not in front of my spot, which there was a 6-foot pile of snow that had been dumped there. So I just had to shovel it out myself with my neighbor.
I've been there. I've done stuff like that, especially last year in Boston. Like everything was absolutely terrible.
You know, once when you start shoveling for like an hour, you just keep going. And then I'm helping my neighbor shovel and helping everybody else shovel because like, I'm like, whatever, I'm already doing it. And it's like, it's good exercise. It makes me feel good. So
yeah, but it kind of sucks though.
It does. It does. I think the part that sucks about it the most is knowing that you're shoveling shit that's going to melt like almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't wait for that. I know. I was doing that this morning. I was walking Lyra and I was like, where did all the snow go? So
it's just instantly gone. It's as though it never happened.
Yeah. So that's probably the more frustrating part of it.
It is.
The whole snow thing was really annoying.
Yeah. And it was weird to go to Steph's 2 nights in a row and do the exact same thing 2 nights in a row. Because just now when you were like, what's going on with you? I was like, what did I spend the entire weekend doing?
You're like, I was with Ryan.
Super Smash Brothers the entire time? And the answer is yes, pretty much. Like, I pretty much just played Super Smash Brothers.
I think that's a great weekend.
It
like
was pretty
Smash
good.
All weekend.
It was pretty good. The Smash Bros part was pretty good.
We saw some friends we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, and the last time we hung out, we played Melee, and then this time we played the new Smash, and it was kind of interesting to compare them.
Yeah, but like everyone, it was still like the same dynamic. Like nothing had changed in terms of us all screaming and playing that game.
Yeah, for better or for worse, absolutely nothing has changed.
There was a point where I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe or play the game, so it was great.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, I don't even know what you were trying to say. Were you trying to say Jubilee?
I was trying to say, okay, somebody screamed do the thing, like, to the game, and I screamed, Julie, do the thing, from Korra, but, like, all I screamed was Julie, but then I started laughing, everyone's like, who's Julie?
Yeah, everybody started screaming, who's Julie at Ryan.
Like, I was like, I couldn't answer either. And then eventually one of our other friends, Kara, was like, oh, Julie, but then she also didn't explain. So, like, it was still, like, a problem.
So, yeah, that's about the level of conversation that was happening at this party.
Yep, pretty much.
We all acted like kids for a few hours. It was pretty fun.
Some gross pizza. We'll get to that later.
Oh my God.
Guess what? I slept last night. It was really weird. Ben was
awesome.
Like, okay, like I rolled over and I was like falling asleep. But Ben's like, are you falling asleep? And I was like, no, I'm like watching the TV. And he goes, you're not playing your 3DS right now? And I go, I'm thinking about it. And then I was like out, like never happened before. It was so weird.
That's awesome.
So I got like a solid 7 hours of sleep, which like never happens.
That's
like
pretty great. That's pretty great. I feel like I slept okay. I've been sleeping pretty okay this week.
You're kind of having a rough deal in your brain right now.
I don't know why. It
could just be like the winter.
It could be. I just feel like shit for no reason.
I don't know. I think it's because you're doing too much social activity. You are the opposite in me. Because like for me, I went and had a social weekend and I've been recharged. For you, that's like draining.
Yeah, for me, I'm like so tired. And also Zach keeps inviting people over. And I'm like, no, I can't talk to any more people. I need to hide in my room, honey. I need people to leave. But I like them. That's the worst part, is that then like somebody comes over and I'm like, I want to talk to this person for 3 hours, but then I forget that I'm like so much more tired after that than anyone else would be.
I think you just need some downtime, dude. Like that's it.
Know. I'm gonna start feeling better like as I continue to work, which I realize doesn't sound fun, but like that's apparently how I recharge, is working.
I mean, I do the same thing, to be fair, but social interaction does help me also if I like the person.
I mean, I like having some social interaction. I don't think I need as much as other people do by a long shot. So like the fact that I work from home and spend all my time writing and not talking to other people, like for me that's like so calming and great. I'm like, it's like, quiet in here. I'm just doing my work. It's great.
I feel like you would benefit from some downtime by yourself playing video games and doing some cardio for like a day without like too much interaction. I think that would recharge you.
That isn't gonna happen.
Also going to the beach, but I know that's not gonna happen for sure right now.
Oh, not gonna happen.
I mean, we could go, but it's gonna be really cold. It'd be like Arctic plunging, or what? Why is it penguin plunging?
Yeah. I mean, they have different names for it. There's like I think the penguin plunge, the polar plunge. I'm never doing one of those. In case people don't know what I'm talking about, there's like events where people go to the beach and swim even though it's icy cold because people have problems. I can't think of a good reason why anyone would do that. I really can't. It's not like it's good exercise. It's just like, I'm gonna go potentially get hypothermia for like a minute.
I had a dream the other day I did it. I was like, and then I woke up, I'm like, that's not something I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very likely I would go to the beach during the winter, which I did. I took Lyra a couple of weeks ago.
We love going to the beach, and I will go to the beach in the winter, although it makes me kind of sad that it's not summer beach, but I love going to the beach in general. And like going in winter is like, I can't even imagine swimming. Like that's the last thing on my mind if I'm at the beach in the winter.
It's still nice. I guess
it looks beautiful. I just think like, nice. It looks
great. Although I'd rather go somewhere tropical. Maddie, let's go to Disney World. Let's make this happen already. Like we keep talking about it, and we're gonna stay in the Little Mermaid room, and it's gonna be great.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna go to Disney World, and we're gonna broadcast a show live from Disney World.
Oh my god, that would actually be really fun.
It would be really.
Let's fund this.
Okay. Can everybody else pay for us to go to Disney World? Is that something that can happen?
We'll bring Marielle and Gita too.
Yeah. Can everybody pay for them to also go? Because they definitely don't have any money. Yeah, they're not on this show. Trust me, they're really great.
And my dog Ben and Zach. Actually, I don't think Ben and Zach
Ben
really
and Zach
want to.
Literally don't want to go. Like we have been saying that we want to go to Disney World for a while, and like both Ben and Zach have kind of been like, we don't want to go with you.
Well, Ben would go for the resort. He said that much. He was like, I'll go and hang out at like the hotel and the resort part.
I think Zach
get
would
that.
sort of tolerate that, but like he doesn't really like the concept of Disney World. I think you kind of have to be into Disney in order to think that that's exciting.
I know. Yep.
And I am.
I am too. We had that party on what, Sunday, and it was like 2 a.m. We were watching Emperor's New Groove.
Oh my god. I love that movie.
It's a great movie. And fun fact, I've gone all this time without ever seeing it. And I don't know why. Not because I don't want to see it. I've seen every other Disney movie. It was just like one of those weird circumstantial, like I kept not seeing it. So I was like, can we just put it on so I can watch this movie?
That's really weird, man.
And we also watched Inside Out, which I hadn't seen yet.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
I will say that. I haven't seen all the Pixar things.
Don't worry. It's like every Pixar thing. Disney it's going to make you cry.
Oh my God. So. Okay. Sure. No, I want to see it. I was sad that I missed that, but I also knew that like Steph's house was not the proper venue to watch a movie. Which we can talk about later, but we tried to watch The Wizard, which like thank God I've already seen The Wizard, or I probably would have been as annoyed as Katie, and to a lesser extent Steph were, because everybody kept talking over The Wizard about The Wizard.
Katie was with our friend Katie was like so yelling at us. She was like
I don't understand what's happening in this movie, and we were like, well, listen, let me just talk over the movie and explain it. We're the worst. Honestly, I don't know why anybody hangs out with us. It's a good thing that we're all friends still, because no one else can
when I go to see like a movie in the theater, like with you or like with Mary Ellen or any of my friends, it has to be like during a time that other people are not going to be in the theater.
Yeah, so we can like elbow each other about Hugh Jackman's butt or whatever thing we're into.
God, you should have seen Mary Ellen and I when we saw Star Wars. It was like out of control. Like we were just like talking through the whole thing and giggling like crazy people. So, whatever.
That sounds about like the showing that I went to, although it was more like rapturous silence. But there was a lot of giggling. I mean, that movie's funny. That movie is funny as hell.
It is funny. And there's like parts in there where we would laugh and other people wouldn't, like when C-3PO pops out of nowhere and we're like,
That part's great.
And people were like, I don't get the joke. I'm like, the joke, like I don't know. I can't explain this to you.
It's obnoxious. That's the joke. Whatever. Those people aren't Star Wars fans, so they don't get it.
I think Star Wars is a good way to segue into the morning news. But before we do that, let's talk some workout tips to get ourselves moving, because we definitely need to get moving. Ben was just telling me.
I already got a workout from being stressed out for 20 minutes that my mic wouldn't work. I'm sure that elevated my heart rate. I'm 100% positive that it did.
I got a workout from shoveling for 4 hours the other day.
Oh my God, I did too. And it actually did make my shoulders sore, which is pathetic. That's proof that I'm not in good shape anymore. So like, here's my tip. So I have these 2 5-pound weights. I don't have a 10-pound weight because I'm cheap and I don't want to buy one. So these 5-pound weights, I have a 15-pound in the other room. So I have 2 5-pounds and 2 15-pounds, and that's it. That's all I have. I keep meaning to buy more weights, but whatever. As established previously on this show, I hate spending money, and if I can avoid it, I will. So if you're like me, you can actually hold 2 5-pound weights in like sort of an X formation, and then you can do a curl with them. So then you don't have to buy a 10-pound weight.
So wait, would you want to move up in your weights or not? Like,
oh no, I do. I would love to. Although I have less muscle mass than you, so usually 15 is about as high as I need to go. But I would love if I had more 10 and 12-pound weights, because it makes it harder to skip from 5 to 15. Like that's a big leap. There was a period of time where I couldn't go beyond like 10, and it was really hard for me. And now I do like between 30 and 40, which still, I mean, is still not like a lot. It's good. I used to actually, this is as high as I ever went, I think. I used to be able to bench I think it was 25-pound weights benching, but benching is a little different. But also like it's hard for anybody who has estrogen to build like a lot of upper body strength. Lower body strength, I can fucking kill it. But
same.
Because usually like all humans are equal when it comes to lower body strength, or at least in terms of like biologically, people are pretty equal.
Dude, I could like kill somebody with my legs. Like,
yeah, like squats, you can do as many as you want. Assuming that your legs are,
well, also your body is built for walking, so your legs are going to be stronger than your.
Of course, we're Homo erectus, man.
Erect.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, upper body
this is
strength
a great
wise,
show, Maddy.
Listen, upper body strength wise, I've always wanted to be stronger, but it's such slow going. It's so fucking slow, man.
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
I've just been lifting these same, and they still tire me out, which is the worst part.
Okay, so
is that I'm like, why is this still difficult? I hate everyone.
So anyway, I just realized that I forgot to take the camera off you for the past 10 minutes.
That's fine. I mean, that I've been doing cool shit.
Oh my God.
But Ryan was working out and you all missed it.
We're pretty awake though, which is really weird.
I'm awake because I screamed for like 10 minutes.
Maybe we should do this every day.
I wasn't screaming. I was just really mad.
I'm laughing and I shouldn't be, but at this point I'm already in like the hindsight 2020.
Yeah. And also like now we're punchy because shit's crazy. Okay, so do we want to talk about X-Men a little bit? Do you want to tell me about X-Men?
But I was going to tell you a workout tip first.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought your workout tip was Maddy, move up in your weights.
No, my workout tip was like shoveling, but Ben told me a good one this morning that I can't do yet, where you kind of suck all the air out of yourself. You blow it out and then turn your stomach like inside out and hold it.
What?
Yeah. But to like,
do you do the radiator thing where you try to like control your air and you're like, because I've done that.
No. Really he blows all his air out and then he holds it to get his abs to he holds his abs and that kind of like helps build your ab strength and you feel it like all over your chest. He was showing me how to do it and I like could not do it. I was like I can do crunches and stuff, but this is like out of my realm and it looks weird.
Is he just like flexing his abs?
Yeah, hold
on. And
like
crunching? Because I know you can do stand-up crunches.
Let me see if you can see this. He gave me a book, but it kind of looks like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Where
the middle one or the top one?
They're both the same thing. They're just in different positions.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like that's what I mean. It's like your stomach sort of looks like inside out when you do that.
That's crazy. I don't think I know how to do that.
I can't do it, but I mean,
workout tip. If you could figure this shit out, you're probably doing better than we are.
Yep. All right. So morning news.
Morning news.
We're like going through everything. All right, so there's all sorts of stuff
because we only have like 20 minutes left in the show because I've wasted the first.
It wasn't okay. We didn't know that your bike jack was gonna break. All right, we gotta stop talking about the bike jack. So this is actually I think older news because Ben was like, I knew this from like a week ago, and I was like, sorry, I don't live on IO9, and it was about X-Men Apocalypse, which
we are really excited to go.
Oh my God, I'm really excited about it because it seems to be the most X-Men-y so far of all the X-Men films.
It does.
And I was reading this.
I mean, they are changing some stuff, which I guess we're about to talk about, but.
Well, yeah, but like the thing with any kind of movie verse that they've had for any of these Marvel or DC movies, I'm okay with the movies being sort of alternate versions of what the comics are because there's no way in hell anybody can take a comic book series that's been on for like 60 years and then like do it also, exactly.
It's so complicated. Like there's really no way you could really adequately do it. You have to confine it within a movie time period. Like you have to be able to tell the story in 2 hours.
You have 2 hours to tell 60 years worth of like stories.
Good luck.
But this particular interview was talking about how this is a whole new X-Men universe that was, I mean, obviously from the last movie of Days of Future Past, the timeline has now changed. So while, you know, the same kind of things will happen like in both universes, certain people may live, other people may die. But the most interesting part about it is that they were talking about Jean Grey. And I kind of got the feeling of this already from just watching the trailer, but they were talking about how they may be setting it up to do the correct Phoenix Saga.
Yeah, that was what I heard too. I hope they do that.
And, you know, in the trailer, there's like that whole opening where you see all this fire and stuff. And she's like, and Jean wakes up. She's like, I sense the world ending or something. And you figure it's Apocalypse, but it's not also coincidence that it was like 60 flashes of fire. So
right. And
cutting to like Jean.
Referring to her own future. Yeah.
Right. And so they were also talking about, and this is for anybody listening, spoiler alert, the guy that plays Quicksilver is saying that the Quicksilver is looking for his father, and it's going to be confirmed as to who he is, and it's exactly who we think it is. If you don't know who it is, then you're not spoiled, but
Yeah.
But
if
they
you
were
do
also
know who it is, then you'll just be relieved, because like all they could really do in the previous movie was hint at that, because for some reason I don't think they like had the rights.
I don't know. The battle between Fox and the Marvel universe is like still going on. So
it's so dumb.
But they were also talking about how like all the characters are going to be like exactly like the way we know them, which really hasn't actually happened in the X-Men movies, because they've been kind of like weird alternate versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And because in the original X-Men movies, all the mutants and their powers was a lot more subtle than it is now in the X-Men movies, because like the universe kind of like had it all like very secret, and now in this universe it's like all out in the open. So these characters are going to kind of be more like themselves. They were talking about Nightcrawler being a swashbuckling, charming guy with swords and stuff, and they're saying Jubilee is going to like break away the serious moments with like her jokes and
she's
stuff.
gonna be the comic relief, which I thought was
oh my
really
god,
good.
I'm so excited about that one.
Except that all of them are going to be like kids, so even though Kurt,
but that's fine with me, because technically when it started, weren't they like kids? Like they're not anymore. But
the only part that's weird is that Jubilee is like theoretically younger than all those characters, and she's not going to be in the
I mean, I thought that's weird too, but
I don't care. I'm just
I don't
like,
either.
saying that's the only thing I've noticed so far that I've been like, oh, that's different, because Jubilee's supposed to be like, 10 or 15 years younger than all of them, depending on like, I don't know how old Jubilee really is. Don't ask me that. I don't know. But, yeah. So like, because normally she's like the kid sister friend of everybody.
They were like, we need a character that's like blatantly 80s, and that is blatantly Jubilee, and like
yeah.
So I'm cool with that. So I'm excited that they even stated that, because I'm like, I think they may actually understand who Jubilee is, because the 90s cartoon, as much as I love that animated show, did not understand Jubilee and sort of ruined the character for a lot of people, and people just assume that Jubilee is like this obnoxious girl, and I'm like, no, she's really, really, really great in the comic books, but nobody remembers that. So
yeah, I'm hoping that this actress is like charming and awesome, and this is her first role ever.
I know,
she's 19 and she's never been in anything.
Well,
and I read the interview with her, and she sounded adorable, and I'm like, all right, all you needed to do was cast somebody adorable. I think they nailed it. So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Bryan Singer has done this with other actors too, where he's taken a lot of like chances on unknown actors, and it's worked out great. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really hopeful about it, and also it's cool to see like young actors getting the chance to sort of have a career potentially. So that'll be cool. I think the girl who's playing Storm is also like a relatively new actress.
Yeah, she is. A lot of them are. So
stuff.
So speaking of X-Men, that X-Men Danger Rooms Protocols fan series that I was talking about a couple of episodes ago has already been canceled. The funding has been canceled. Marvel won out after them, which it's exactly what we said. It's like, if you try kickstarting a series that's like based off of something,
you cannot do it.
Yeah, because you're making money.
We have also in our topics list, some people are doing a Gem and the Holograms fan film, and like as soon as I saw that on the list, I was like, Ryan, that's gonna get canceled.
I know,
like,
and I'm so disappointed because
it's not going to work out.
I was so excited when I looked at the trailer that they are trying to kickstart too, and they have like retro 80s movies.
For money, they should not ask for money. They need to like independently raise money and like not say that that's what it's for. They need to be like, we're raising money for a production company, and then unrelatedly, we're doing this other trailer that's completely free. Because if you don't charge money for it, then you can put out a fan film if you want. Like, that's legal to do. People put out Star Wars fan films. There's that new one this week that's great. It's called Kara.
There's the Metroid fan film.
There's the Metroid fan film. And like that one is, they produced it on their own money. Like, it was a production company that's established that just like produced
did it for fun.
Yeah, for fun. I mean,
that was like the whole thing somewhere. Well, remember that crazy Power Rangers thing that was popular?
Yeah, that was another example. Yeah, that like everyone hated but you. That one.
Yeah, I actually didn't like it that much either, because the ending made zero sense.
It was really stupid. I got mad at it. I was like, this isn't Power Rangers.
Listen, it had Katie Sackhoff, and that's all I want.
It had Katie Sackhoff, but that wasn't enough for me.
Like, I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying. I'm like, Katie's here.
Anyway,
but
that's another example. Like, they didn't crowdfund that; they just did it. It just suddenly showed up.
Which is why they had so much trouble taking it down too, because they were like, "Oh, we're suing you," and he was like, "Dude, I did this for free." Like,
yep.
And all these actors did this for free. So
yep. So they can't sue them because it's just at that point it's what's the thing? It's not fair use. It's whatever I don't know. It's fine. Just don't raise money for your fan film on Kickstarter. Like
it's not gonna work.
You're just gonna get brokenhearted later. It's a bad idea. So that's not gonna work.
Do you want to tell me about Agent Carter? Because we haven't watched
I'm about to go watch episode 3 for work.
Are you reviewing them all for Mary Sue right now?
Hopefully. I mean, like last time, the problem was that I ran out of time at work to keep reviewing Gotham because.
Okay, well, also you were the only ones watching Gotham. We still are. In fact,
no.
Okay, you're gonna think this is a nerdy look. I got a little Harvey.
I saw you tweeting about that.
I was like.
I mean, we're watching Gotham. I think my friend Nico is still watching Gotham. Like a couple people are still watching it. I can't believe that show's still on, honestly.
It's like of all the CW shows, it's probably one of the better ones, and nobody realizes like how good it is.
I think maybe people restarted watching this season because it got better. But anyway, I ran out of time at work to do the recaps. But for Agent Carter, I think it will work. I mean, like, I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but like one of the other problems with the Gotham recaps is that literally no one read them. Like, so it was not worth me spending 2 hours to write the
Yeah. I mean, they made the right call on that.
45 minutes. The show is 45 minutes, and what I do is I watch the show, I watch like 5 minutes, and then I quickly type up what happened, and then I watch another 5 minutes. I mean, it takes 2 hours to recap a 45-minute show. Like, I'm sorry. That's how long it takes to do. I do as fast as I can. I'm a fast typist. I'm a fast writer, but I can't. It takes 2 hours. That's just how long it takes. And like, that's 2 hours of my workday, and unless a bunch of people click on it, it's not worth doing. And like, we tried doing Gotham for a couple of episodes and like people did not read the recaps. And I worked pretty hard on those.
I don't think Gotham's as popular as Agent Carter.
It's not.
Is, though.
I can promise you it's not, because I did a recap of the season premiere for Agent Carter and a ton of people read it and like pedantically corrected me. Thanks, readers, about like every factual error I made.
Okay, well tell me about the episode, like, or without spoiling too much. Like, what's the premise of season 2?
The premise of season 2 is that did you watch all of season 1?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like that. You know how Agent Carter and Agent Sousa kind of have a like will they won't they romantic relationship?
Yes.
So Agent Sousa is like, I have to get away from Peggy because I'm afraid of having feelings because I'm a man. So I'm going to move across the country and like start a new SSR operation in Hollywood for reasons that aren't entirely explained because it's a TV show. And so like he starts a new office and he starts investigating this mysterious series of like murders, and they end up being connected to the Isodyne Corporation, which is like this basically they're discovering dark matter, like it's from Doctor Strange or whatever. I mean, if you know everything about Marvel, then you already know about all this shit. So like they're discovering dark matter, but they're not calling it that. They're calling it zero matter because it's the 50s and or the 60s now, possibly. I don't remember what year it is in Agent Carter. This is the kind of thing that people send me angry letters about.
And you're like, dude, can we just watch the show?
I just watched the show. All I do is watch the show. So like Peggy thinks that Agent Sousa is requesting her to come, but actually he just requested anybody to come, and like Peggy's coworkers are playing a prank on her because they're all dicks. So like they're like, yeah, Sousa totally wants you to go to Hollywood. So they send Peggy to Hollywood, and as soon as she gets there, Sousa's like, I didn't know you were coming, and also I already have a girlfriend here, and it's really serious, and like I'm about to propose to her, and like I'm not going to admit that I still have a crush on you. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to just randomly meet this other guy, Dr. Jason Wilkes, and like start dating him anyway. And Dr. Wilkes is played by Reggie Austin, who's a black guy. And so there's like a lot of stories about how like he's had to deal with structural racism, but he works for Isodyne and he's like a good guy. And he's like, Isodyne seems like a really shady company and like their funding sources are really shady, but I'm not a bad person. So I'm going to date this SSR operative who's really hot and like tell her everything that I know about Isodyne. So like, I really like Reggie's acting in this. I thought he was hilarious. And like, I really hope they keep him because I thought that his chemistry with Haley Atwell was really, really good. So they're sort of starting a new romance between Peggy Carter and
But
Dr.
what's
Wilkes.
the actual show about? Because like it just sounds like a
It's
weird
about
romance show.
It is a romance show. That's it. That's all it is now. It's about Peggy.
I'd be really angry if that's the case.
It's about Peggy discovering what Isodyne is doing.
Okay. That makes more sense.
It's about dark matter, essentially. And, like, we don't really know what's happening with that yet. Also, they introduced, like, 12 new female characters. I don't know if it's worth running down what they do.
Well,
they were like, you know what this show needs? To get rid of its entire male cast in New York City and introduce a new cast of, like, 12 women.
I'm okay with that.
So they did that?
That's allowed in my book.
None of the characters... Like, none of them really do anything. Like, there's Sousa's girlfriend who's really cool, but she's not an agent. And, like, she and Peggy just instantly become friends. And it's, like, fine. And then, like, there's Jarvis's wife who, like, turns out to be amazing.
Right. I heard about that.
And so, like, she and Peggy become best friends. And, like, then there's also Sousa's administrative assistant who is named Rose, and she's awesome. So
I
like
thought you said Rogue, and I was like, whoa.
No, it's not Rogue, it's Rose. And so like none of them are agents. They're just like women who are part of Peggy's life and like, you know, each have different personalities and like have different opinions about what she should do, and they're all just like there for her. So it's like they just created a group of women to be friends with Peggy this season, which is way more realistic because like Peggy had no friends.
Well, it was
so I was like, thank you for writing in a bunch of friends. They sort of
did that though. I mean, they tried. They put her in that weird apartment building, with, like the all-female apartment building.
Yeah, they had like Angie there, and she was friends with Angie, but like I think the problem with Angie was always that Angie would never know that what Peggy's real job was. And then like when she did find out, it was like, oh, she's not supposed to know anything because she's just a civilian. And like that was always going to be a tension there. But like with Rose already knows everything about her. And like Jarvis's wife already knows everything about her. So she can actually talk to them. So that helps a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the whole idea of having Peggy Carter living in like this like all female like apartment with curtains and stuff, and I was like this is a little weird, and like
I hated it, honestly. I know people loved it, but I was like, I know this is like accurate to the time period, but I fucking hate this. Like I don't need to be like, reminded that this
she's literally like climbing out windows at night, you know.
Yeah, that was messed up, and like it was kind of funny, but I was like, why can't she just get an apartment? Like, why is she answering to this school marm? It was just weird. And like, also that was one of the justifications when people were like, why aren't there any women on this show who aren't white? And the showrunners are like, well, she lives in a boarding house that would have only admitted white women because of like structural racism at the time. And it's like, okay, sure, like that's accurate, but why did you guys put her in the boarding house? Like that entire plot is shitty anyway. So like, why not put her in an actual apartment building with like a more diverse cast? And also people seem to think that like Black people didn't exist in America before, I don't know, the 1990s.
Yeah,
like, we're just pretending that no one existed, like because we'd rather forget about that part of our history, I guess. But
I guess it didn't count until Power Rangers came along.
Like the entire country was still diverse, and like the fact that Peggy Carter only has white friends is not a good reflection on her.
I mean, also the problem with Agent Carter is that there's like no like African American people in the background either.
I know, they don't even really try to like have that. And like Peggy hangs out in a diner for most of the first season, and it's like, okay, so is this like a whites only diner? Like what the fuck
in New York
happening?
City? Like
it's
of course,
really weird. It's weird. So like they need to change that because that's not even really what New York City looked like at the time.
Oh my god, I know.
Anyway, they're fixing some of that by having literally a Black character on the show, and I'm not going to pretend that that's fixed. It's not.
It's like, I mean, that's typical
because
Marvel universe. I mean, not the Marvel universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe bullshit.
It's not great, and like I really love Dr. Wilkes. I think he's great. I think the actor is really good, and it's awesome that he's there. But like I did think like, oh, you guys introduced a lot of new characters, and like none of them are Asian, like none of them are Black. What is happening? Also, like you're in California, you don't have any Hispanic characters. Like what? I mean, like I get that like Peggy's only hanging out with a bunch of rich white people, but also we're supposed to believe that she's a woman of the people and that she has friends in high and low places. We're supposed to believe that of her. And we're supposed to think she's a good person and that she's progressive. I don't know. It's just something that bothers me about the show. And they are better, but like marginally.
Before we conclude on Agent Carter, I will say that this is the problem the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to have, is that it's just really kind of shoddy storytelling, and they don't do a good job of like just that, of being like, okay, she has friends all over the world, but you never see them, and it's like it's not really depicted anywhere. It's just like kind of like all the Marvel Cinematic stuff is all just kind of like, oh, quirky stuff that's happening that makes you laugh, and then jump cut to action scenes, and I'm like, all right, whatever. We're just having a fun time, apparently. So
yeah, it's a problem. Anyway, do we want to talk about like the wizard at all?
We do.
I guess we did.
And we have some wizard, and we have some reader mail.
We have some wizard mail.
I do want to say that I saw this trailer for that new Nintendo game, Great Detective Pikachu.
Oh my God,
I don't know what it's about.
Watch that trailer.
Just go watch it, because all I can say is that Pikachu actually talks. And he has like a creepy old man voice. That's so all I'm gonna say.
Though. Okay, so everybody, that's like our recommended video of the week is
Great Detective Pikachu trailer.
It's so freaking cute. Just go watch that video. You'll feel better about life after you watch it.
All right, I want to.
Skye sent us another recipe. What recipe did she send?
She did, and we also have another
friend of the show. Skye sent us a recipe.
It's Skye's recipe corner. Wow,
Skye's
my Boston just came back for a second. Sometimes that happens.
I know, Ryan secretly has an accent.
Okay, sometimes it comes out and it's like really bad. When I lived up closer to Boston, I didn't even realize I had an accent at the time. So
I feel like it comes in and out. Like sometimes you don't have an accent at all, but sometimes you do, and it's really funny.
Well, I moved to Connecticut for a long time.
If you noticed Ryan's accent or not, that would be a fun reader mail.
Oh my God, that would be all right. Let's do this. So Skye, first of all, the first reader mail we have is from Skye, and it's her sending us a recipe for horchata, and she gave us a vegan. It's because it's vegan, so it involves. I forgot to forward this to you, Maddy, and I'm sorry, but you know what horchata is, right?
I think I do. Remind me what it is, and I'll tell you whether or not I was right, as opposed to embarrassing myself by getting it wrong.
Well, it's like a vegan South American dish. So it has 1 cup of rice, 5 cups of water, ½ tablespoon of vanilla, another ½ tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 2/3 a cup with white sugar. And she says adjust it to taste, and you pour the rice and water into a blender and blend for like a minute until the rice begins to break up. And then you let it stand for a while, and then you strain it into a pitcher and dump the ingredients in there, and you chill it and serve it. And actually, I'm pretty sure
it's like a drink, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ben made that.
That's what I thought it was. I had no idea that was how you made it.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure
when
Ben
you
made
started
it
talking, I was like, oh, I don't know what horchata is. And then you finished talking, I was like, no, I do. I've had this before. I had no idea that's how you make it.
Drink it while you're eating something really spicy. I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Right, because it like calms. It's like how you have a glass of milk if you're eating something spicy.
Right, exactly. Except this is without like the milk, and obviously it's a vegan version. So
right, yeah.
So Skye, keep on sending us recipes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've had horchata before. There's a place in Somerville called the Painted Burrow that has a lot of awesome Mexican dishes if anybody lives in Boston.
I'm really glad that Skye also sends this to us, because we're like, oh, let's talk about food. And then we get to the food part and we're like, grinders. Okay, bye. So somebody else is doing our job for us, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too. Did Mary Ellen send us anything?
No, but we actually got another piece of mail from somebody who says they're really enjoying the show.
Yay! I don't know why, but yay!
She said that she had heard that we liked comic books, and they wanted to know if we liked Marvel or DC better, and what kind of comic books do we like to read. Is it not
obvious? We talk about Marvel constantly on this show.
I mean, it is. I do favor Marvel, but I read a ton of DC also. I mean,
I do too. I still read Catwoman and Wonder Woman a lot. So
I read like everything. It's crazy. And to answer the question, and because I read it last night, and I was like, I don't even know how to answer this, because there's so many years of these comic books. Like we're talking like 60 like years. There's decades of this. And it's kind of like, I could say go read X-Men, because that's obviously my favorite go-to. Like X-Men and Batman, I read those the most.
I mean, like, does person have like any experience? Are they asking where to start with something?
No, they were just asking what we liked, and we obviously
this is like my go-to recommendation these days is the new Miss Marvel comics with Kamala Khan.
Those are great.
That is really accessible, even if you don't know anything going in, other than like the most vague basics of like seeing some Marvel movies. You really don't need to know that much. Like, just start with No Normal, which is like volume 1 of the Kamala Khan story, and just read that volume.
Marvel's doing some really
explains everything right as you go. And if you like that, then I would say maybe after that, try the Lady Thor comics, which I just finished catching up on those volumes. And they're so good and so fun. And like, those are more serious, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, Marvel's killing it right now with the comic books.
They're doing a great job. Those are my 2 recommendations.
Yeah, DC's still a hot mess with the new 52.
Oh my God. I hate some of the changes that they've made with that.
So do I, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I am going to give 2 recommendations that are older.
Go
from
for it.
Within the past decade. Grant Morrison's New X-Men is still probably like the best X-Men series out there to date. Mm-hmm. And that whole generation of time. It's some really dark political shit going on in there. And I loved the entire run of Runaways, which I don't know if you ever read that.
I don't think I did. I should check it out. I just got Marvel Unlimited, so
you really should, because it started when I was like at my ending year of high school, so like 2003, 2004, and it's like kind of about this group of runaways that
I see people cosplay it all the time.
Yeah, and like one's like a dark wizard, another one's like a tech like magician, another one's like an alien, and it's just really interesting and funny and like really good at depicting teenagers with powers that are also sort of vigilantes in a different way than the X-Men does, because the X-Men's like all political, and these are just teenagers being teenagers that also have superpowers.
That sounds pretty fun. Yeah. So I do like stories about kids.
So I definitely recommend all that stuff. So yeah.
Good question.
Good. Yeah, it was a good question. So anyway, throwback time. I'm actually surprised we made it to throwback time, and like within 40 minutes.
We did a good job. We also got through all of our topics. We're killing it.
Well, speaking of killing, I killed some of the topics because like we'd even watch these. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So we watched The Wizard, which by the way, I still recommend. And I went into The Wizard being like, this is actually going to be a good movie, you guys. And everybody was like, no, it's just going to be some stupid movie that we're going to make fun of. But by the end, everybody had to admit that it was actually good.
I love this movie so much. It's sitting right here.
It's actually good. And like, I know that nothing about it, like by all rights, it should be really bad and laughable and like a so bad it's good kind of a movie, but it's actually really good.
It's
and like the children who are in it are acting really well. And like, I always
Rilo Kiley's in it.
Rilo Kiley's in it.
Rilo Ken.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever Corey.
All right, we should probably explain what the movie is. We're just like, the wizard is great and all the characters are great.
The explanation of the movie is going to make it sound shitty, but like Nintendo funded this movie in order to promote Super Mario Brothers 3.
It was in like 1989.
Even though that premise sounds like it should result in a terrible movie because every other cinematic project Nintendo has been involved with has been garbage, like the Super Mario Brothers movie and like Pixels and like
and
whatever
Pixels.
The hell the Legend of Zelda TV show is.
Oh yeah, I have that
Captain M show. Like all of that stuff is really bad and garbage, and like you would only watch it if you like wanted to laugh at it. But The Wizard is actually adorable and features like 3 kids on a road trip across the country to participate in a video game competition, and like it deals with like what it would actually be like if kids ran away, and yet the kids are really smart and resourceful and like they have to figure it out, and somehow they do, and they do things that seem realistic, and like they keep getting into dangerous situations, but like the fact that it's dangerous actually is highlighted by the film. Like it's not like wacky.
Well, it is kind of wacky, like that whole scene where the guys are trying to rob them of their money while they're like running between cows on a truck, like you know, that's a little wacky.
Like adults keep stealing from the kids, and like in ways that feel realistic and shitty, and like sometimes adults are kind to them, so like there are different situations that they get into. But anyway, it's a road trip movie. It's a coming of age movie. It's also about death. Like
yeah, there's a kid in there who has mental trauma because his twin sister died by drowning in a river,
Yeah.
And he's the one that's also like the video game genius, and they're like,
yeah,
we
he
should
sort
bring
of
him.
like copes with his trauma by being really good at video games, and like it turns out that he does enjoy video games, which is something that they sort of discover over the course of the film, and like he ends up competing in the tournament. But like at the beginning of the film, you're like, okay, so this kid has PTSD, and like nobody.
Well, they're
talk to him.
literally like I guess the mother and his like stepfather are going against everybody else's plan, and they're like, we're gonna admit him to a mental hospital and just leave him there. And then the reason why they go to the video game tournament is because the brother is like, I can't believe I'm the only person that doesn't think this is okay, and he breaks his brother out of like the mental hospital.
Yeah, but the brother is like also 10. Like they're both like 10.
It's Fred Savage, by the way.
Yeah. But it's like
Slater's
really
also
young.
in this movie.
Christian Slater's in the movie, which I completely forgot about somehow, but he's not like a main character.
No.
Yeah, so it's actually really fun, and it's a great movie to watch if you're a kid. Like, I didn't see this movie until I was an adult, but I feel like if I were a kid, I would have fucking loved this movie, and it's still really good.
I loved it as a kid.
Yeah, so like if you have kids and you like need a good video game movie for them to watch, I think this is a great pick. So yeah.
I remember watching the movie and thinking all the kids in it were really old too, and I watched it now. I'm like, these kids are like 10. But there's like a scene in there where they like, there's literally a casino, and then within the casino there's like an arcade in the middle of the casino, and they're they're being served like juice by like these like 16-year-old waitresses.
Why isn't that a real place I can go?
It was so funny.
I really want there to be like a cool casino-looking arcade for kids to go to, where like 14-year-old waitresses in waitress outfits serve juice. I want that to be real, and that's the only part of the movie that I was like, this isn't realistic. Like up until that point, you're kind of like, wow, I really
also, and like, what is it? Rilo Kiley's friend's name is like Spanky the trucker. Like,
I
that's
also
weird
believe
too.
That's realistic. I would believe that a trucker was nicknamed Spanky. Damn it! I will stand by this movie.
Oh my god! No, it's great. And then there's like the stepfather and the mother send like this like bounty hunter guy to like
to go after the kids. So he's
like terrifying in this movie because like he's like trying to like hurt them the whole time.
It's scary.
And it's like.
It's scary. It's
Rilo Kiley just keeps on coming up with ways to get rid of him, and it's actually this was great too, is that she was not only resourceful and smart, but she was also really good at video games.
Yeah, and they show a lot of like girls in the background who
and then
games.
Right, and when they get to the finalists at the tournament, it's like the kid, and then the kid with the power glove, because that was also the premiere of the power glove, and then it was like this nerdy girl. So
yeah, and I mean, I won't spoil the ending.
I mean, who do you think wins?
I don't know.
Definitely not the wizard.
Probably the bad guy with the power glove.
I mean, that's what you would think,
right?
No, that's so unrealistic right there, because the power glove sucks. As great as it looks.
He use the power glove in the Mario tournament.
I know, but he's like, I've got the power glove for everything.
Okay, so like we should clarify for people that like when everybody quotes the power glove stuff, that's from this movie. So if you wanted to understand anything about Nintendo jokes, you kind of need to watch this. All right, so I have to go like recap Agent Carter now. So should we like close this out?
Yeah, I just wanted to say for our recommendations of food this week, we're talking about pizza because Maddy and I
we like ate Domino's pizza over the weekend with our friends,
and every single time I have Domino's, it's like it tastes okay, and then you feel terrible for days afterwards.
Like,
and
it tastes fine. I think it tastes pretty good even for like,
I don't know, I'm like kind of getting out of that too.
But it doesn't matter how it tastes because it made me feel like shit later.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is to eat pizza that's not Domino's.
Yep, I say go to local places. Message. There's a couple local places around here that I love, and they make real pizza.
I mean, honestly, we make pizza at our house. Like I haven't gotten takeout pizza in ages because we have a pizza stove.
That makes a lot more sense.
And we buy dough, and the dough costs 50 cents at the store. Like anyone can buy that.
It just takes a while, like to kind of put it all together.
Yeah, and you roll out the dough. You put spaghetti sauce on it. You put cheese on it. I mean, you don't have to buy expensive ingredients. Like you really don't if you can't afford them.
I'm like it takes so long, but it doesn't take any longer than cooking any other meal, really.
It usually doesn't. You cut up veggies. You put the veggies on there, and then you end up with a great pizza. Like it's so much easier than just ordering anything, honestly.
And
like,
if you're like me and you're lazy, if you are going to order, go with a local place that's been around forever and like
Yeah, buy
well known for
local
making good
business
pizza.
because it's not going to be that much more expensive. Like Domino's is the cheapest option near us, which is why a lot of people go to it. But
that's also why it's shitty
pay
because everyone's
$2 extra
ordering
bucks
it. Yeah.
and like don't have a stomach ache for 2 days. That's my recommendation.
I agree with that. So, and I'm sure this is not the last time we're going to talk about pizza on the show because we grew up in the 90s. So like, hello,
I'm not against pizza. I love pizza, but I am against Domino's after the weekend I've had.
I am with you on that. I mean, I can't even say it tastes good anymore because the pizza that was sent to us was like awful. Like
it wasn't that good, and they took like 2 hours to deliver it. Whatever, fuck Domino's, fuck them.
Anyway, and they're gonna like probably like message us and we're like, you can't say that about us. So we'll be like,
you know what? We can. This is all true. It's not slanderous. Eat good pizza. This is my personal experience with the Domino's nearest to where we live. I will not reveal which Domino's it is, but whatever.
All right. I think we touched on everything somehow.
Yay!
We didn't talk about Birds of Prey, but maybe we did that for next week.
Follow Atomic Blue Productions on Twitter and YouTube. Also, the only thing I didn't talk about was this terrible TV show, Birds of Prey, which I'm going to watch.
Why don't we save it for next week so we have something? So yeah, you can follow.
That's a spoiler for next week. We'll talk about Birds of Prey next week.
Subscribe to this channel. You can subscribe to our actual channel, which is Atomic Blue Productions.
Hell yeah!
And we put stuff there, and you can catch it on Twitter at Atomic Blue Prod, and go to the Facebook group as well.
Thanks for watching our terrible show.
Thanks for enduring the first 20 minutes of. I don't know.
I don't want to talk about that ever again. I'll get a new mixer. Goodbye.
I don't know. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye, Maddy. How do you end?